So good morning. This is June 30th, 2016, and I've moved my hydroponic system to the back of the yard, and I ran it in a straight line. And the idea of using this style Dutch bucket the way that I did in my yard is I'm using gravity to return the water back to the reservoir. And so far I've had it running for, I guess about 3 weeks. That's Mocha, my dog, on the left. So far I've had this running for about 3 weeks. It runs beautifully, really, really nice. I've made some changes as well in the design, and let me go through some of the design changes. I learned last year that if I plant my tomato plants below the lid cover, it gives them about a week to 2 weeks to adjust to the sun so that they don't burn out. These tomato plants, the first 3, got planted above the lid cover because I wasn't thinking, and they did. They got burnt. And this guy over here is recovering beautifully, as you can see. This guy in the first bucket, these are all tomato plants. He's recovering, just hasn't gotten there yet. And this guy over here, you can see how he's recovering very nicely. And he's got a nice little shoot on him. There you go, you can see that. So he's recovering, he'll do fine. He's just going to be delayed a couple of weeks, about maybe 2-3 weeks. What's amazing is all of these tomato plants were planted on June 14th, and today, like I said, is June 30th. All of these tomato plants were originally planted below the lid, and as you can see, they are really doing really well, as you can see there. It's got a nice thick stem on the tomato plant, and all of these tomatoes are heirloom tomatoes. I do not support Monsanto, and I also have the ppm, the nutrient level is set roughly about 1200, 1300 on this system. And you can see down below is my return line that's just hooked up from one bucket to the next. And what I also did different this year is I'm using a 20-gallon reservoir, whereas last year I was using, past 2 years, I was using a 5-gallon bucket, and it was constantly running out of water. I also have about 5 buckets here for growth. I actually do have 5 more tomato plants planted in soil that I will transfer over to hydroponics, which is something that's very cool to be able to do. Just take the soil off of the roots gently, wash the soil off, and then you can put them into the hydroponic system, and they adjust very well. The other thing I'm doing this year, I was running a little bit tight on time and getting things cleaned, all the gardens cleaned and things planted. So I have some pepper plants, and as you can see over here, this is what I'm talking about. I have the pepper plant planted below the lid cover, and actually there's 3 pepper plants in there, and I'm giving that about, it's been about a week so far, so I'm going to give it another week. So far it's doing real good. It shows no signs of stress or sunburn. They were adjusted to the sun, so they should be perfectly fine. It was a matter of taking them from soil and transferring them over to hydroponics, and they're doing very well. Again, this is another tomato plant here, and this is also here a pepper plant that I have removed from soil. As you can see, it's 3 of them. They're doing very well. You can see how my system is set up. These are, they used to be called Hydroton clay balls, clay balls, and now they're just called clay balls. They are manufactured other than Germany. That's where they originally were manufactured. So okay, let's take a look at the system. You can see all of my tomato plants are growing really nice. The other thing that I have set up on my system, as you can see, my system does run off of excuse me, solar, And what I did, with the help of another person, is I set my on and off timers, which are right in here, and I set them so that it will stay on for 1 minute and then go off, stay off, I should say, for 30 minutes. So that means that they're going on twice an hour. What's really nice about that is the past couple of years, I had to shut the system down at night because there's no solar, and the battery would run down during the night if I ran it. Now that I have this running 2 times an hour, I can have this running all night without any problem at all. Come the morning, the sun's up, and it's been recharged, and everything's running great. This is my reservoir here, and it's a little low right now. Maybe a little later on today I'll add a little bit, maybe a gallon or 2 of water. All in all, it works perfectly fine, and you can see I have a thermometer in here to check on the temperature. I have taken ice bags, and I have added ice bags to the reservoir to bring down the temperature, because a couple of times it got up to about 87, and it worked a little bit. So let me set up the system and run it, and show you how it works. Okay, that's it. I just turned it on, and manually turned it on. That's without the timer. I'm resetting the timer actually. So basically what you're seeing is the system is running, and over here is my water line, and you can see how the water line's working perfectly, and tomato plant is under there, and this is the one that got sunburn, and you can see he's alive. He will come back. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, he's alive, and he'll get new shoots. So everything is being watered right now for 1 minute, and then when the system goes off, you'll notice that there are bubbles coming from my return line, which is right there. That's my return line. Some bubbles, that means the water is coming back into the reservoir. And it just gives, by the timer being off at 30 minutes, it allows all of these buckets to drain back into the reservoir. And the pump just shut off, which you just saw, and the bubbles are coming out, so it's going to work on the next half hour returning the water. And that way it doesn't run out of water, and I can better control the food and control the system.